Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Pod. For I'm your host, Carlito Santiago. And we are going to be reviewing SmackDown. Okay. So, SmackDown results, winners, live grades, reactions, it's all here. The 3-hour episode had a lot of time to fill, but WWE only had advertised a couple of segments for the show before it began. So a lot of what we saw was a surprise. The Motor City Machine Guns took on Pretty Deadly. Of course, as we know here, SmackDown started with Cody Rhodes, our WWE Undisputed Champion, coming to the ring for an interview with Joe Tessitore. He talked about his match against Kevin Owens at this Sunday's, or Saturday, usually no. This isn't a match. I'm sorry. It says match here. He talked about his match against Kevin Owens at this week's Saturday Night Main Event. It's actually a contract signing. It's not a match. It's a Royal Rumble. At Royal Rumble, they're having their ladder match. So just to clear that up. The segment ended without interruption or attack, so we moved right into our tag team match. While Pretty Deadly is not known as a powerhouse team, both men are You know what? I should mention this Cody, Kevin Owens thing. I have a prediction in. I know it's crazy, but prediction for this Royal Rumble match that you're gonna get and you're gonna hear on Thursday next week. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is retaining. As much as a lot of people want Kevin Owens to be the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes is winning here. A lot of people have to inspire the fact that Kevin Owens' character is really fucking good. And what they are doing with Kevin Owens is really fucking good. But Cody is still the future. And we still have a match with him and Orton to go. So, I really think that having Cody win the title, or retain the title, would be the best route. But anyway, so back to this tag team match. While Pretty Deadly is known as a powerhouse team, or is not known as a powerhouse team, both men are deceptively big. And when you see them next to two guys, the right size, or two guys, the size of Sabian and Shelley, they look like beasts. Now, the most Machine Guns use their speed and agility, while Wilson and Prince use their size advantage to overpower their opponents whenever possible. Pretty Deadly got into a lot of offense and almost won with a double team bulldog maneuver that looked great. But the Machine Guns made a comeback and scored with the skull and crossbones. Almost said crossboards, not crossbones. But yes, the skull and crossbones. This was a fun and well-paced tag team match, which now leads the Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team titles against DIY at the Royal Rumble. That I'm looking forward to. Graded a B+. I think this match was pretty good. Saban and Shelley have been doing so good so far in the WWE, and I like to see where they go moving forward, hopefully regaining those tag team championships back, but we don't know. Owens came to the ring to cut a promo about everybody sucking up to Rhodes, but Jimmy Uso came out and said, "I had enough of your ass," and smacked him up across the face. which would lead to a match later in the night. But after a break, Carmelo Hayes was shown complaining to Nick Aldis about his match being canceled. Oh, come on, man. Give me a fucking break. My match is canceled. You got nobody in here. I'm getting disrespected week to week to week. Are you kidding me? I'm Carmelo Hayes. Gotta put some fucking respect on my name. So the GM, Mr. Nick Aldis, offered him a new opponent who was just drafted to SmackDown. Hayes said he would wait to see who it was before accepting. And we'll find out about that in a little bit, hopefully. But up next was another tag team match. It was B-Fab teaming up with Michin to take on Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens. Green was Michin's main focus throughout the match, since they have been in a feud for several weeks, but Niven and B-Fab weren't left out. This ended up being a pretty short match that ended with Michin getting the pin on Green. There wasn't much here to like or criticize, so it was basically filler until the next singles match in the feud. So, C-. This is pretty interesting with them saying that Michin getting the pin. That means Michin gets another title match against Green, right? If we're keeping consistent with how WWE's history is, if you pin the champion, you get a championship match. Simple. A good video package between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Damian Priest was the talent that Aldis drafted that Carmelo Hayes was booked to face later in the show. And of course, Matthew McConaughey, Miss You're Not Enough For Me, Michelle McCool, and Mark Henry were in the crowd. And I like WWE doing this. Having celebrities and having fucking older wrestlers in the crowds. It's nice. Then we had a huge little segment that got turned into a 6-woman tag team match. Tiffany Stratton came out to give a promo that was quickly interrupted by Rhea Ripley. They were soon joined by Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, who were followed by Naomi and Bianca Belair, who were then followed by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. It was basically just everyone saying that they would win the Royal Rumble. When we returned from the break, we got a 6-woman tag team match because they all started brawling and we needed a match. This was the usual WWE style setup for a multi-person match. Everyone had little time on the defense, and everyone spent a little time selling for everybody else. Now, I did watch this clip. If you watch everybody brawling, I love Tiffany Stratton in this moment. She gets the fuck out of the ring and gets the fuck out of here. She literally starts booking it down the fucking entranceway. The bout lasted through a break until the next segment, so the women were on screen for a long time between the match and the talking segment. While most of what we saw looked good on a technical level, which I like, there was no sense of urgency in this match. It felt like they were just going through the motions at times instead of the chaotic feel we expect from a match with this many people in and out of the ring. It didn't really pick up until the final moments of the match when Ripley got the hot tag, started taking out everyone, but in the end, Morgan was able to steal the win by pinning Bianca Belair and her getting all mad about it. So, the heels win with a C+ grade. WWE showed a video package of Charlotte Flair returning to the WWE, probably as a babyface or a heel. Most likely a babyface. And could possibly win the Royal Rumble. Yeah, this was pretty much said, where was it? Right here. Basically, it was just everyone saying they were declared to win the Royal Rumble. And then, of course, how they set up the tag team match is right here. It sums it up. I don't even have to explain myself. I'm guessing Apollo Crews is being used now. Apparently, he took on Johnny Gargano. Apollo Crews and Johnny Gargano had a singles match this week after Crews insulted DIY backstage in previous segments. Crews hasn't been on TV much since his return, since his team with the former Baron Corbin, now the Nomad Bishop Dyer, was disbanded following his relief. So it was nice to see him get some in-ring time this week. He and Gargano are both capable performers who worked at a brisk pace and wrestled multiple styles. We got a little bit of everything in this bout. Now, even though Tommaso Ciampa interfered, Crews was able to get the pin with a roll-up in what is easily the most surprising result of the night. This was a fun little sprint, but if they had more time, it would have stolen the show. Crews defeated Gargano with a graded B. Go check out this match. I recommend it. It has everything that is, right here. It just says it right here. He and Gargano are both capable performers, and they did multiple wrestling styles. So you got a bit of everything. If it went longer, it would have got match of the night. So go check that out. I recommend it. I haven't seen Crews on TV in a long time, so to have him be on TV and get a win, I'm going to turn that B into a B+. That's good. Crews hitting Gorilla Press Slam followed by a moonsault is a perfect combo for him because it combines his strength and agility. Common sense. Tama Tonga took on LA Knight. Yeah. The next match was the one that WWE advertised before the show took place. LA Knight taking on Tonga, but for two was at Tama's side. And of course, Knight gave a quick promo before the match to mock his opponent before they began fighting. This wasn't a match about trading technical submissions and counters. They were throwing fists as soon as they met contact. The fight spilled out of the ring almost immediately and saw both men use the barricade to inflict some punishment. This was a hard-fought contest that sold the aggression their characters feel for each other. Fatu remained an intimidating presence at ringside, but he almost looked unimpressed with Knight instead of his usual shade of anger. He almost cost Knight the match, but his distraction failed because the megastar hit the BFT for the 1, 2, 3. A glorious victory. Strowman then came out to even the odds, and of course, two beefy men wanting to go at it, but then pulled out of the ring by Tama Tonga, which you'll see tonight on Peacock, Saturday night main event. So look out for that. Strowman and fucking Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu did cut a promo back from his, something about the King Kong and Godzilla promo. I forget where he did that, but he did a promo backstage coming to the ring with Tama. So, great to be LA Knight wins. Of course, then we got Damian Priest versus Carmelo Hayes. I'll be honest, Carmelo Hayes losing sucks. Okay? Week to week to week, having him lose, it sucks. We need something new. But Carmelo plays up to his character, which is nice. That is great. If he could win once in a while, that would be better. Ugh. Hayes and Priest were booked in a singles match by Aldis during an earlier segment. So Melo tried to look confident while he was looking a little scared of his opponent. The Archer of Infamy had the upper hand early, but Hayes took control at ringside as the show went to a break. We came back, and they paced this match a little slower than expected, but they did it in a way that made sense. So every big move felt more important instead of things only being sold for a split second. Hayes came close a couple of times, but Priest wasn't about to lose his SmackDown debut. Come on, that's idiotic. He picked up the win with the South of Heaven. And a 1, 2, 3 later, Priest defeated Hayes. So I got nothing to really say about this match. All I really have to say is that Mello plays up to his character, but I would love to see him fucking win. Honestly. And Hayes is a good seller. So Theory and Waller were told that they were drafted to Raw in a backstage segment. It must suck to suck. Then our main event, of course, Jimmy Uso KO. Let's talk about it. This week's main event saw Jimmy Uso and Owens do battle after getting into a scuffle earlier in the evening. And sponsored by Snickers. Like they usually do. Uso was Hayes' planned opponent, so that is why he ended up facing Priest. Okay. Hayes felt insulted by Uso during a moment backstage and attacked him during his entrance. Officials broke it up, so Jimmy continued his way to the ring. The prize fighter had the upper hand, for a few minutes, and talked a lot of trash to both of his opponents in the crowd. These two know each other very well and are veteran performers, so it would almost be hard for them to have a bad match. But that doesn't mean that this was Match of the Year candidate either. We're not even at that level. They had a nice back and forth encounter for a few standout moments, especially in the second half. But Owens was able to bring back his little pop-up powerbomb for the win. Only to, of course, stomp Uso and have Rhodes show up shortly after to initiate a brawl. So, Owens defeated Uso with a B+. The cameras caught a shot of Hayes following Uso before his entrance. It was hard to tell if it was planned or not. Also, Kevin Owens wore a Naomi shirt to the ring. Pretty fucking hilarious, if you ask me. But the final word of the show, 3 hours of SmackDown is already feeling like a bad decision, and I'm already agreeing too. At first, it felt pretty good because we figured we'd have more talent to be on screen. For those who don't get it, Apollo Crews being shown this week was a great fucking idea. Maybe having Hayes pick up some wins, even with his little heelish character, so he doesn't feel like a fucking fall guy. But it's hard to complain about getting more of a thing you enjoy sometimes. This week's show had a lot of decent matches, but the tag team match between Pretty Deadly and Motor City Machine Guns was the best by a small margin. The next one would be Cruz and Gargano. While Saturday Night Main Event was mentioned several times, it doesn't feel nearly as important as the last one. So WWE is clearly already thinking past it to the Royal Rumble next weekend, which is true. WWE is a well-oiled machine with a near-flawless production and presentation. But sometimes it rests on its laurels a bit too much. It hasn't felt like many episodes of any WWE show have been must-see TV lately. So hopefully that changes as the WrestleMania season is heating up. Graded a C+, and for the overall show, I'm going to be honest with you guys, yeah, it's a C+. Next thing it would be is a B-, but I'm going to give it a C+, because this is where the show happens. It's where it is, where it's at, and you couldn't ask for anything more. There have been some news, too, with Charlotte being a return to the Royal Rumble. There could be the possibility of TNA superstars showing up. Rosemary, of course, Slamovich, Jodin Grace, maybe even Dr. Britt Baker, DMD bitches, NXT superstars, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Julia, Stephanie Van Queer, if I'm saying her last name right. But something else, too, that I should bring up here is, of course, the Royal Rumble has now featured 4 matches for the card. 6 p.m. Okay. 6 p.m. Just remember that, guys. 6 p.m. And this is how it will look when I do the predictions. When I do the predictions, this is how it will look. You'll have my face here, and I'll be doing this, and I will break it down. And I'll even read the storylines, too, to make it even a little bit better. But yeah, this is the men and the women's. And so, yeah. And then, of course, what I'll do here now for everybody, since it's a Saturday night main event, we have Jay and Gunther. Now, I said I would not predict this, but for anybody to know, wants to know like who I think is winning, like I've said many times on the Raw, put your money on Gunther retaining. Braun Breaker and Sheamus. I would love to see Sheamus win the Intercontinental Championship, and I will break down in tears if Sheamus wins. But Braun Breaker hasn't really had any feuds other than Sheamus, Jay. So keep the title on Breaker. Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Give me Strowman. Be pretty big. And then Nia Jackson, Rhea Ripley. Give us Rhea Ripley to retain. I mean, you got 2 baby faces winning here, and then 2 heels. It's pretty even. Keep it that way. But until then, and no, you won't be getting a result video for the Saturday night main event either. So don't even try me. But as far as I'm concerned, WWE puts on phenomenal shows. And I can't wait for tonight's either. So, we'll have to wait until Monday. And that will be the final Monday to clear up everything for the Royal Rumble. And then we will have our predictions video. Our predictions live stream. The 30th, Thursday. I don't have a specific time of when I'm starting, but it's just happening Thursday. Just so you remember. But until then, I will see you guys when I see you guys. So I will see you on Tuesday. I'll see you on Thursday. And then next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday for the results of the Royal Rumble.